If you're coming back from a long hike and you need active recovery and a nice long stretch, then this is the right video for you. Grab a pair of blocks, a strap, and a massage ball or a tennis ball, and I see you on the mat. So today we're gonna start standing, and we're using this massage ball. You can also alternatively use any tennis ball or any smaller ball that you have at home that is a bit more sturdy, because we're gonna use it for massaging our feet. Good. Let's start standing. So you bring the ball down onto the floor. Obviously, we want to massage our feet. And we start just first by rolling the feet on the ball, start to warming up the foot, and then put a bit more pressure on and start first on the toes, the balls of the feet. Go further down on the outer edge of the foot, and then into the arches of the feet. And that is where most of us are having a massive pain point, a massive trigger point, and you will feel a bit of a pain here, a bit of a lot of pain. And that means we're so tense in the feet. So let's stay at the point that is the hardest for you for a bit. Maybe massage it with slightly circular movements. And then you will feel it recedes. The pain will get a bit less. Good. And then also roll it towards here, and then all the way back. Nice. Oh, that already feels quite nice. And then we switch it out. We start first on the toes, on the other foot, and continue our journey here through. This is just a very short version, obviously. So go and press pause, repeat this at home in your own time, and really hang out on the spots that feel really intense, feel really tight for a bit longer. And it will get so much easier. Your feet will love it. Good. Let's even it out here on the left foot. Nice. Feeling good? Yes. And then we put the ball aside. And we're going to use a block. We did this, I think, in my recent video, at least in one of my recent videos, where we use the block. You can also use kind of the stairs or anything to put the balls of the feet or the toes on, and keep the legs straight. Start to lean forward. Ooh, good, nice stretch in the calves. So especially after a long hike, I mean, we're using the feet, the calves, the quads, the hamstrings, the hips so massively. So it's super important to do some active recovery and restore everything so that we're ready for the next hike. Good. Maybe put a bit more pressure on. And then slowly release. And we switch it out. Put on the left foot. Oh, maybe this foot is a bit, or this calf is a bit more easier, a bit less tense. Or maybe the opposite direction. Then, well, hold on here. Deep, long breath in through the nose and out through the mouth to release the pressure. You see, I like to bounce in and out here. It always feels the best for me. Good. Put the blocks aside. We're going to need them later again. Let's come down to our mat. Cross the right foot over the left. Reach the arms out. Inhale. And exhale, we're sitting all the way back down. Little mobility challenge here to start. So come on to seated on, tuck the toes under, and we walk our hands up towards the hips to sit on our heels. And again, another stretch for the toes. We're not going to stay here for too long. I know it can be really intense. That's why we're doing it. So that over time, when you repeat this, it becomes more and more easy, and we restore the mobility and flexibility in our feet again, which we're losing because we're constantly wearing these shoes and they keep the feet in one position, which they are not meant to be. Good. We stay here for one more breath. Ooh, spicy stretch. And then we come forward and release the feet, maybe tap them down to the mat a few times. And then let's start with a couple of cat cows. Inhale, arch the spine, look up. Exhale, round the tailbone under, look towards the belly button. Inhale, arch, drop the belly. And exhale, press the hands into the mat, press the shoulder blades away from each other. Continue here, maybe add a bit more movement, maybe from side to side. We're mobilizing the spine, the upper body. I know this video is mainly about the lower body, but still we want to have a healthy spine that can move into each direction. And it's a great warm-up in general. Good. Find some stillness and then stretch out the right leg, tuck the toes under and press again into the heel here. Press the heel away from you, a lot of pressure. You want to open up the calf again, maybe look over the left shoulder for a nice side body stretch here. One more breath. And then we switch it out. Good. Step the left foot behind you, tuck the toes under, and again, pressure in here. Hope you had a wonderful hike. And if you do this after a hike, maybe comment below where you went. Good. Maybe again, looking over the opposite shoulder. Maybe you can even see the toe. Oh, yes. And slowly release. Good. Tuck the toes under. And we lift up into our downward facing dog. Take your time here. Maybe walk the feet, stretch from side to side. Opening in the hamstrings and the hips, the ankles. That's a good mobilization exercise for the ankles actually. Also very important for the hiking. Press the shoulders towards the knees. Press the hands into the mat with all 10 fingers. Belly button into the spine. Stretch the hip up towards the ceiling. Next inhalation, look forward between the hands. And then with baby steps, walk the feet towards the head. Good. If the floor is super far away, use the block underneath the hands. Bring the fingertips down towards the floor. And we bend the knees generously. Left hand down, right arm reaches up, straighten out the right leg. Good. I love this stretch a lot because it is super intense for the hamstrings, for the calves, for the whole backside of the leg. But it's also a really great mobility exercise or movement for the thoracic, for the upper spine, which we often lack in a lot. One more breath here. And then slowly release, and we're gonna switch it out. Right hand down, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Good. A bit more pressure into the left leg. Maybe open up the chest a bit more with each inhale. Find a bit more space in your own body. And then slowly release. You can move the block towards the side. And we're stepping back with our right leg, lower down the right knee, and we come up into this 90 degree shape lunge. So you don't stick the bum out, you chuck the tailbone under, really press the hip forward. You press the right knee into the mat. Imagine you want to press it into the mat and forward, and the left heel presses down and wants to reach towards you. So we're creating this opposite forces here to help us opening in the hip flexor. Lift from the belly, lift from the chest up. And if that is not enough for you, or if you just feel a bit more opening up slowly, you can start to lean forward, but don't compromise here in your form of the spine. Keep the tailbone tucked. Lean forward. Good. We hold here for one more breath. And then if we like, we can bend further into the leg, into a low lunge. Make sure we're not bringing the knee over the foot. Oh, wow, such a big stretch. And then again, use the blocks. I always think it's such a great tool. People often shy away from using them, but they're just fabulous. Straighten out the left leg, flex the foot, and square out the hips. So the left hip wants to draw back in space. You can use the blocks alongside you. Find a nice tall spine and stretch out the left leg. Imagine someone is pulling you forward from the chest. Find a bit more length here. Deep breath here. Give your body the signal that it's safe to open up. Good. Hope you have this strap handy. We're going to use it in our next asana. So on the next inhalation, bend the left leg and bring the blocks inside the leg, or you don't need the blocks. If you don't want to use them, it's fine. You can roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and then untuck the right leg. Stay here in the lizard. Maybe press with the left hand the foot away from the leg, away from you. Bring a bit more movement in here. Good. If you would like to, you can also come down onto the elbows, or the elbows onto the blocks, whatever feels good. So we're going to come into the lizard twist. So for that, if you cannot reach your leg from behind, use the strap. But I encourage you to at least give it a try to bend the leg. Even if you cannot reach it fully, train your body to do this movement here so that eventually you can do it. If not, put a strap around, hold on here. And this time, we bring the leg towards the bum, stretching out the quads. I know it hurts a lot. So use the strap, or don't use the strap if you can reach the foot from behind. Bring it towards the bum, but keep the hip down. At the beginning, when I started, I always lifted my hip up and I was like, wow, I'm so flexible. But no, we still want to stay in this lizard lunge. Good. Hold here for one more breath. Oh, they're really tough. Good. And then step the foot back. Step the left foot back. And we lift up one more time into a down facing dog. Ooh. Good. The left leg feels so much longer. Legs inhale, look between the hands, step the right foot forward, lower down the left knee, and we come into our 90-90 lunge on this side. And now tuck the tailbone under. Again, we apply these opposite forces here to open up the hip flexor on the left side. Still maintain a nice and tall spine. Lift up from the chest, lift up with the crown of the head, grow nice and tall. And then again, every inhale, find a bit more length. And maybe on the exhale, you start to find a bit more depth in here. If you don't, it's fine. We all just want to have this sensation. We want to open up the hip flexor. And if this is with here, that's absolutely fine. I feel it here. If you're a bit more flexible, maybe you sink down. Last breath in this position. And on the exhale, you can sink fully in. If that feels good, just to give it a bit of a stretch here. It's a bit more in the quads now rather than the hip flexor. Maybe it's different for you. Good. Nice. And then we lift up out of the right leg. Again, use the blocks alongside you. Bring them alongside the right leg. Right hip draws back in space. Toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And then you find length in the spine before you find the depth here. It really is not so important how this pose looks, how far you can sink down. It really is about to find the proper stretch. I often see kind of these shapes here in my classes, where I know it is nice to have the head down and gives you the feeling of being more flexible, but ultimately you're compromising the stretch. Good. Enough talky. We bend the leg and we bring the blocks with us if we want to use them for the lizard twist. Roll towards the outer edge of the foot. Again, maybe put a bit of pressure on the right leg, open up the hips. Oh, it feels so good to stretch out after a hike or a long walk. It's so good. It's also so much better for the active, to have an active recovery than just sitting back home or sitting on the couch or laying down in the bed. Good. Rebend the back leg again. Use the strap if you have it handy and if you like to use it. And then bring the foot towards the bum. Keep the bum down. Imagine the foot wants to reach the bum, but the bum wants to run away. Good. Hold here. Deep breath. One more breath here. This is so big. Such a big stretch. If this is feeling really intense for you, take it a bit more easy. Pause the video. Hang out here for a bit longer. You will feel so good afterwards, I promise you. Good. Slowly release the foot. Gonna put the blocks aside. Keep the strap handy. We're gonna use it. And then we step back. One more time, downward facing dog. Lift up. Now both legs feel nice and stretched out. Much better now. Good. Look between the hands. And then we step the right foot outside of the right hand and the left foot outside of the left hand. I'm gonna turn a bit towards you so that I still see you. And come into the Malasana squat. Maybe walk a bit here from side to side. Shimmy yourself in if that feels really intense. Use the blocks underneath you if the full Malasana is not ready in your practice. Also play a bit around with the setting of your feet. Some people find it more easy to have the feet pointing forwards. I found it really much easier to have them almost towards the sides. Pointing. Good. Nice and tall spine here again. Stretching out the hip. And then slowly release. Bring the legs together. Sit down onto your bum again. Bring the strap with you. Have it handy. And then reach the arms forward. Inhale. And exhale. We roll slowly vertebra by vertebra down onto our backs. Good. Bring the knees towards the chest for a little squeeze. Maybe massaging the lower spine a bit. And then we come into the happy baby. Grab the outsides of the hands, of the feet. I don't know, today something? I'm just confused on hands and feet. And then rock from side to side. If that is way too much, always hold on the shins here. That works absolutely fine. Or maybe use a strap. And over time, this will become a bit more accessible and the hips will open up. Good. Oh, nice. Slowly find some stillness. Grab the strap. And we're going to start with the right leg first. So you can keep the left leg like this onto the mat or straighten it out if you feel a bit more flexible. Bring the strap around the arches of your right foot and then stamp the right foot up towards the ceiling. Feel a lot of pressure here in the heel. So imagine you want to bring the heel up towards the ceiling. Again, you can stay here or straighten out the left leg if you want more. That increases the stretch. Now, you pull here on the strap every inhale and exhale, pull a bit deeper on the strap, but don't go too far. I would say maybe like 70-80% of your limit. You don't want to hurt yourself. Also, my big toe is kind of like hovering over my nose. It will never touch, but just having this angling here. Hold here. And again, if that feels nice, pause, continue here in your own time. Now angle the foot towards your left shoulder, not further away. And what you feel now, the sensation is your IT band. We're not stretching the IT band, you cannot stretch it, but we can do a bit of like a nerve flossing so that it learns that it can actually, release the pain in this position. Good. Then slowly we open up the right foot towards the right side. If that is your limit, absolutely fine. Maybe you can open up the hip even further. And again, it should be like 80% of your limit. You don't want to hurt yourself. It should not be painful. I mean, in a good way, painful. Good. One more breath here. And then slowly return the foot. Good. And we switch it out. Left foot up into the strap, up towards the ceiling, angling the toe towards the nose. Every inhale and exhale to soften, to maybe bring a bit more depth in here. Good. Hold here. And on the next inhalation, we open up towards the right shoulder, not too far. We don't want to have the hip lifting up from the floor. Feeling also the outer sides of the hamstrings. People always say, I want to stretch the hamstring or the back of the leg. Actually, you have 3 big muscles that are together forming the hamstring. So it's really on various different sides. So important to stretch, not just always in one direction. Now open up the leg towards the left side, hold on to the strap, open up the hip here. So what you also feel is now your most medial hamstring here being stretched. If you sometimes have knee pain after a long hike, try out the stretching. It often helps to release the pain in the knee. At least that was the case for me. I always had really crazy knee pain after running. And as soon as I started to stretch in a nice, sensible way, it started to vanish. Good. Bring the strap back, the foot back towards the center. Move the strap, bring the knees towards the chest. Hold on to the left knee, straighten out the right leg. Reach the left arm towards the left side, and then bring the knee across the chest for a nice supine twist. This feels so good in the spine. Maybe you can look over towards the left shoulder. Just relax here. Let go of any tension. One more breath here. And then slowly return back towards the center, and we switch it out. Straighten out the left leg, bring the right knee towards the chest, and then bring it across the body. Reach the right hand behind you. Maybe close the eyes. Enjoy the stretch here in the spine. Active recovery, what you're doing today, feels so good. Should always be part of your workout. One more breath here. And then slowly return back towards the center. Maybe give yourself a hug or stay here for a couple of minutes for a nice Shavasana. Hope you enjoyed this video and see you soon.